Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to do the instant match reaction of Crystal Palace 1, Arsenal 3, where there are a lot of things to talk about, as you can see from the goals, where it's 3 to Arsenal and 1 to Crystal Palace. And for me, there's a mixed number of emotions, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of sadness, a little bit of frustration, a little bit of lack of confidence, a lot of things to talk about. But we're going to go straight into the first highlight of the game, and that is pretty much from the first minute. You can see this is Roy Hodgson's last home game, and you can clearly see that the Palace players were up for it in the first minutes. The Palace fans were behind them, and you can see there's a lot more atmosphere. The players now have something to cheer them on, because we're hearing the fan noises in the TV when you're watching it, but the players now can have some motivation from the fans, because you can clearly see that the Crystal Palace players were doing everything they can to try and get this victory for Roy Hodgson in particular. But it was a good 30 minutes in my opinion. First 30 minutes, there's a lot of end-to-end football. It was very attacking, no sitting back. Both people had chances, but there was only one chance pretty much that stood out, and that was Christian Benteke's, where he had the clearest chance of the game for the hosts, as Arsenal's centre-back pairing switches off and the forward flashes a close-range header just over the crossbar, and the fans behind thought it was in there, and it was just really close for Crystal Palace to get their goal, but they were unlucky not to get the goal. And then the next highlight of the game is where Nicolas Pepe hands Arsenal the lead, and it's 1-0 to the Gunners. And it was actually a really good move by the Gunners, because it was a great move from the Gunners. Bukayo Saka setting up a back heel for Kieran Tierney on the left edge before the Scotsman sees his cross volleyed in at close range. A huge boost to the visitors and a huge blow for the hosts. But that's something that Mikel Arteta also definitely needed, because you know that Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace is very drilled when it comes to defending as a unit. Each player knows what each player is going to do. They work very well as a team. They work very well as a unit. And if they don't get that first goal, it's going to be difficult to break that defence, because all the players are up for defending. You see Zaha coming all the way back to defend. You see the other attacking players like Andros Townsend coming back to defend. But Nicolas Pepe getting that goal, showing that he is still scoring big goals at this time. In an Arsenal shirt, he has had a much better season than the first season, and hopefully there's more to come from Nicolas Pepe. So then pretty much what happens is they both have a good contest with each other, they have a good competition, but it's pretty much first half, and the only thing that happens is Nicolas Pepe's cushioned volley, which is the difference at Selhurst Park, as Arsenal lead in the Premier League to keep their European prospects alive and to threaten to puncture Roy Hodgson's Crystal Palace farewell. The hosts won't lie down here on this occasion, however, and this one hangs nicely in the balance, but at half-time it was Crystal Palace 0 and Arsenal 1. And Mikel Arteta knows that Tottenham lost to Aston Villa 2-1. You see the results are going our way. You see Everton winning Wolves 1-0. So now they're in the similar number of points to us. And it all pretty much ties to the last 45 minutes on whether Arsenal get into the Europa League, because for me, I'd rather have European football than no European football as well, and the only European football I want is the Europa League right now, because we can't get the Champions League, and I definitely don't want the European Conference League, so it's a decent first half. But then it all goes back to shame for the Gunners, because Crystal Palace were up from it from the first minute. I saw they took a shot straight away, but they pretty much didn't have, but they were straight away from the first minute ready to bounce back, and knowing Arsenal's fragility, knowing their mentality is so weak at the moment, we need a massive overhaul in the squad. And then Christian Benteke just reminds of how poor we have been this season. He levels it for Crystal Palace, and it's 1-1. It was a foul on Zaha by Thomas Partey just on the Eagles' left flank, and it hands Townsend a free kick chance as Nicolas Pepe hobbles to the side from an earlier knock. The ball is speared in, and the Belgian beats out everyone to land a fantastic low header past Bernd Leno, and Selhurst Park erupts. And when it comes to Benteke, there was talk about he pushed El Neni, but that was very soft from El Neni to fall down, and it was a brilliant goal by Christian Benteke, someone that's been in good form, someone that's been called up to the Belgian squad. So there's a lot of things going well for Crystal Palace at this time. But then Mikel Arteta makes changes. Martin Odegaard comes on, Granit Xhaka comes on, then Gabriel Martinelli comes on, and guess who gets the all-important goal? Gabriel Martinelli, and he has rescued Arsenal 2-1, and Crystal Palace's hearts are broken. It's Martin Odegaard who holds up the ball and cuts the cross in towards the far post, where his fellow substitutes brings it down, somehow edges it round Guaita and bundles home. Roy Hodgson's farewell is surely ruined. But the way Gabriel Martinelli came on, only had 15 minutes to make an impact. He is a top player, and Mikel Arteta now needs to realise to start him against Brighton. He hasn't been getting starts as expected. Saka came off. Saka, hopefully he's someone that's in the England squad regarding his future as an England player. But Martinelli, he saves Arsenal. He gives them the slightest hopes of making it into the top 6. Everyone's on equal points now. If West Ham lose, then it's all good for the Gunners because they have opportunity to come 6th. So you have to wait and see what happens. But then to top it all off, Nicolas Pepe gets a double to seal the deal for Arsenal, and it's 3-1. The Ivory Coast international darts in behind 2 defenders and slips a low finish in at the left post, and that does it. And Arsenal win at Selhurst Park to ruin Roy Hodgson's day. And the way Nicolas Pepe went past a couple of players, the way he shows that £70 million worth is just in those literally 30 seconds you see his ability. He's someone that had more goals than Kylian Mbappe in that season. That's why Arsenal signed him. I think this is just time. It takes time for a top player to come. But sometimes for players like Nicolas Pepe, you need time to get to that level. And hopefully slowly and quickly in the next season, he will be able to develop into a top player. And Arsenal probably would then be thinking we have a top player on our hands. Even though you might have overpriced for Nicolas Pepe, it's a brilliant game, brilliant goal, brilliant win, and now we have to wait and see how the other results pan out, especially West Ham's. But for Mikel Arteta, what does this game mean? It gives Arsenal the opportunity to get into European football. It's going to be very tight between a couple of teams like West Ham, Everton, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur. There's a few teams in that bracket where who's going to be in the European places. And for Arsenal, for me, I think if we get the Europa League spot, it's a good victory. The way the season's been, how poor we've been, and we can rebuild in a good manner. We have to wait and see how everything pans out. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace.